Hey, so today we're getting started on this driveway for real this time. I got some friends over to help. We're gonna get this cleared off. Let's get going. I already did a little bit of work here. The pavers are up. I think that's the last thing you guys saw. So I got a little mini skid steer. We're gonna level this off, get down to some good dirt. I got some fill dirt coming and some sand. But we're gonna get this going. Sand. These are like, why isn't this working here? It's like rusted. Jesus. I can't get that. Yes.
It's been a while again, and as you can see, I've been busy with extending the driveway. I'm not sure why, but I didn't record very much of this process. There's a lot missing here, so I'll try to fill you in later. As I said, I'm starting out here by excavating this topsoil and grass from this area. I need to get down to firm ground to put a paver base over so that my pavers don't sink under the weight of the new vehicle I put here. The whole purpose of this is to have a sheltered place to work on cars and be able to paint outside of my garage. You can see here I've completed the excavation and I've also got the paver base and sand down. I'm setting my string lines and starting the first course of pavers. I spread the sand and level as I go. I really didn't have time to do all the leveling and compacting that you would typically do before laying the pavers. But in the end, it turned out great, as you'll see. Projects like this that remind me of what it means to have a team. While I did all the laying of the pavers on my own, I had a lot of help from friends during the excavation and moving of materials, and especially with the carport construction. There is no way I would have been able to stand that up on my own. 3 of us were barely able to. So thank you, friends. And to be honest, I actually do know why I didn't record very much of this project. It was far too difficult to coordinate all of the labor and work cameras and microphones, especially when working with timelines and rented equipment. Again, if I had a team, it would be a different story. When I'm working by myself, I can take the time to set up and capture moments because I'm on my own time. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't like to waste other people's time.
Wow, what a couple weeks it's been. So I have not really filmed very much. I'm really just trying to get all this done. But as you can see, I've completed the driveway here. I've got a carport. I've moved the car back in there. I brought in some paver base, put that down, compacted it. I've got about an inch of sand over the top of that for leveling these pavers. I got all these pavers in, compacted them down, put some more sand in the cracks. One thing that I did run into, and if you ever end up doing reclaimed work like I did here, so most of these pavers over here were reclaimed from those raised beds that were over here. Now I knew there probably wasn't going to be enough for me to finish this driveway. But I thought, I can find more. I can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, my local building supply, and get some of these pavers. Not so much. Turns out it's really hard to find the exact paver you're looking for. Now, in this case, I didn't really care so much about appearances as I really just needed the size of the pavers that I had to match whatever I got. Now, obviously, I want to get close to color and style and all that stuff, but they don't have to be exact. I wasn't really worried about that. First of all, Home Depot, Lowe's, forget it. They're not going to have what you need. These pavers are pretty thick. These are actually made to drive on. They don't really have those at Home Depot. So I go to my local builder supply. I talk to a guy who's apparently really good at all this stuff. He's supposed to know all the information about these pavers. And he's like, oh, yep, I got that one. I got the exact color. Everything's good, right? Well, I got them here, and they were a good inch and a half, well, a good 3/4 inches shorter on the length on these guys right here, and about a 1/4 inch shorter on the width. I probably could have made it work if I didn't already have all these. So I had a bunch of these squares. I had more than I needed for this. What I needed were these. And actually you can see the difference in the style here. So this is an original one, and this is a new one. But I told the guy, I don't care about the style. They just need to be close. They need to be the same thickness. They need to be the same width and length. Everything needs to be that. The dimensions were the most important because I had to fit them into here. The guy left me hanging. I kind of gave him an earful because I was like, well, you're the expert. I'm not. I know that you deal mostly with contractors who just, they would pull this up, they would trash all this and start over. Well, yeah, I'm trying to save money, but I'm also just trying to be a good steward and to the earth and not throw away stuff that's still usable. I mean, this is all still usable. So why can't I just buy more bricks? I took one of these original bricks, I brought it to him so that I could verify the size, I could verify the color, everything. You know, I did this stuff to get it right, and you screwed me over. So luckily they did take them back, but I was charged a restock fee. I went to another builder supply that's around here. I took one of these original bricks for an example, and I was able to actually go to their paver yard, and I found the right one. Yes, the profile is a little bit different, but the size is what is important here. You know, I don't care that there's a little bit different style. I mean, look at this. I mean, you know, you can't hardly even tell. You know, the squares there are the original and the rectangles are the new ones. Yeah, there's a difference, but I mean, it's fine, right? Like, it doesn't matter. All right, so that part aside, we got all this finished. I literally used every brick that I had, and you can see where I was just showing you there that I actually kind of changed the pattern a little bit because I was short some of the rectangles, but I didn't want to buy another half pallet, so I just switched out. You can see right here there's 3 instead of 2 of the rectangles, so every now and then I just did that to kind of spread it out. Successful. Down a little money for that restock fee, but it was, you know, not too much, like $30 or something like that. I'm not going to cry over that. Lessons learned on my side too. We got some edge retainer against the edge there. And then this carport, I spent a lot of time researching carports. Originally I was going to get a canvas, you know, kind of portable carport, but I kind of thought about it and I was like, with being in Southern California with all the wind and sun, I just didn't feel like a canvas was going to hold up very well. So I found this one, which is a good medium between cost and durability, and it's all metal, 2-inch square tubing, metal roof. My original intent while I was looking for the canvas ones that I want to kind of turn this into a paint booth. So what I'll end up doing probably is when I get to that stage, I'll just buy some tarps or maybe even just clear poly sheeting or something that I can put up on the inside to kind of shelter it a little bit. Coming back to the wind, these things are supposed to be fastened down, so I didn't really have a really good way to do it initially. So what I ended up getting, so on the 4 corners plus, you know, one in the middle, I have these, they're kind of like trampoline anchors, or sometimes they call them mobile home anchors. It's a 30-inch long spike that has a 3-inch auger on the bottom of it. And you just auger it into the ground. And then I put some stainless steel threaded rod up through the hole. It's got a nut and a washer on the bottom, a nut and a washer on the top, just like this. I was able to level the whole thing just using those bolts, so I could level it, get the other side level. You can kind of turn those anchors in and out and kind of raise it up and down too. So I got the whole thing level. And then on these intermediate poles where there is no anchor, I just put dirt, or I shimmed it with some bricks and composite material on this side where it's angled out, because this is obviously raised up. That's just on a brick, and then the anchor kind of cinches the brick down, so it's real solid. It's not going anywhere. Same thing on the other side. And so you can kind of see this whole driveway has a slope to it. It flattens out right here at this area, but there's a slope that goes down to the driveway. And then this carport sits a little bit lower. The carport is also angled a little bit down toward the driveway so that the water that hits the roof will go that way into the driveway. The one concern I have here, and I knew this was going to be a problem when I started, right in this area right here is kind of the low spot of the whole system. This is where all the water accumulates. When they put this concrete slab in right here, I'm not sure why they sloped it this way. They should have sloped it that way toward the drain. And if they had done that, it would be up higher, and I could have graded it up, and there would have been no water problems here. But here we are. I'm not going to worry about this too much, partially because, eventually there's going to be an ADU here. This is all going to get excavated anyway. The ADU will be about 24 by 24. This driveway right here is 20 feet. The carport's 21 feet. So it overhangs. It's flush up here, overhangs here in the back by about a foot, as you can see. The ADU will pretty much come out to about here. So all of this problem area will go away, and eventually, when I do the ADU, this concrete will get redone, because pretty much all of this will get concreted in over here as well. Just a little update about the things going on around here. But that's my focus, foundation. We're going to get started on that.